Have Arsenal turned the corner? They have a London derby against Crystal Palace on their plate this weekend. They are 5-6 favourites to go to Selhurst Park and get the 3 points, get 3-1 on a Palace home win. Julien Laurent on how Arsenal have evolved under Arteta. Despite him being in charge for a short time, the changes at Arsenal have been clear to see and significant compared to his predecessor's methods. Sources say Ozil is a totally changed player compared to the one booed by home fans just a few weeks ago. Before his first game in charge at Bournemouth, he told them again, if you don't give everything, you are out of the team. It doesn't matter who you are. Have you seen the difference, Robert?
In certain parts of certain games, but, with all due respect to Julien Laurent, who I think is a great pundit, he's very close to Arsenal. Some of his family work for Arsenal, so he's not ever going to criticise Arsenal. And I see some good things about Arteta, but I've also seen a really poor performance in that first half against Leeds. Yes, he might have had a rant and a rave at half-time. And talking about Ozil touched the ball less than any other player on the field and wasn't closing down, got bypassed, things weren't quite right. The second half against Chelsea, when Chelsea changed their system, Mikel Arteta wasn't able to match that, and Chelsea dominated that second half and eventually won the game. Yes, in some games there's been slightly more organisation, they've been more compact, there's been a better work rate, but you can't say after 4 games there's been a massive change. And I think people are hoping and expecting Mikel Arteta to do a great job. Let's wait and see. Let's wait another 10 games before we judge what Mikel Arteta has done.
I agree, but I'm not going to... I agree, totally agree with Robbo. However, I'm not going to throw Julian under the bus.
His professionalism cannot be beyond... can't be called into question, can it?
Listen.
Hey, Ozil ran the most in that game.
Listen, for 300 grand a week, I'm expecting him to run and do that job every week. What I would say is, you could have said a similar thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he took over at Man United. Mm-hmm. There's been a sea change, there's been a smiling happiness about the place, the results have been better, he's tried different things. Yeah, Arteta will want to bring what he learned from Guardiola to the job, because that's why he got the job. If he hadn't been working at Man City under Guardiola, the likelihood of him getting that job would have been diminished. And he'll probably try things that City have tried. He hasn't got the players to do it, clearly. And as Stewart said, we're only going to find out over the longer term. I don't even think it'll be before the end of the season. I think it'll become the summer. Who they can get out, who they can get in, and then we go from there. And then I think we can really start to evaluate, because history will tell you, and I mentioned it with Solskjaer, people were too quick to judge on that occasion, and it's proven out to be was a little bit too soon.
Clear reasons for optimism that you see?
If you're an Arsenal fan, yes.
Yeah.
If you had to endure what you saw of Unai Emery, particularly towards the end of his tenure, and you see the last few games with Arteta, and as much as Robbo mentioned, Chelsea's second half, I thought they looked decent first half. Leeds kind of get...
My point would be, what's the difference with the bounce that he's got and the bounce that Solskjaer's got?
Here's my... No, all I'm saying is, if you're involved with Arsenal, you're happy with what you've seen. Yeah. I still think that there's a lot of room for concern. As Stuart mentioned, the second half against Chelsea, Leeds... and their pace and early running in the cup game. And then I thought the second half against Manchester United, you get the lead, yet you just sit back and try to defend, which is not what Arsenal has ever really been about. So I say, as much as there's room for optimism, if you're an Arsenal fan, even if you're an Arsenal fan, it needs to be cautious optimism.
The old adage stands. The old adage stands. And there is a huge element to coaching and tactics, and I understand that, and it's a big part of the game, but the old adage will always remain to me: what makes a good manager? Good players. And both Solskjaer and Arteta are in a position where, and I don't think Solskjaer's a man for the job, you know that, and we'll see if Arteta's a man for the job, but certainly Arsenal do not have good enough players, I think, to judge them at the moment.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.